I'm Dr. James Steele. I'm an Associate Professor of Sport and Exercise Science here at Solent University. A couple of years ago, the Chief Medical Officers released their updated physical activity guidelines for the UK, which was something that I was involved in producing. And for the first time ever, the importance of muscle strengthening activities like resistance training was placed at the forefront of the new guidelines. When lockdown hit, the usual place that people engaged in resistance training, the gyms and leisure centres, were all shut down. And so people had to really think and get creative and adapt to the way they trained. Myself and a colleague here at Solent University, Dr. James Fisher, pulled together a large international consortium to conduct a study to find out whether people would continue training as a result of the lockdown, and if they did, how they had adapted their resistance training. The vast majority of people who were engaged in training prior to the lockdown did continue training, just with some slight adaptations to how they were doing it. They switched to training obviously at home, and mainly training using things like free weights and body weight exercise. We also found some interesting findings regarding people's attitudes and perceptions towards training. People felt less motivated, they weren't training as hard, and people also typically perceived the training that they were doing as being less effective, they enjoyed it less, and said that they were less likely to continue doing this type of training in the future. What's going to be really interesting and something that we're looking into now is following up those individuals that we surveyed during this research to see whether or not they have continued training. Finding out some of these things and some of the long-term effects of this will have a lot of implications, we think, for understanding how people's behaviours change in response to these type of pandemic-like events. And they may have implications for us understanding how we can change people's behaviours towards physical activity in the future.